What's up?
Good. We're in Istanbul. You've been here before, but
Uh-huh.
first I'd like to tell you that thank you for accepting this interview with me. It's a big honor for me.
Oh man, no big deal, man. Just me.
It's enough, you know. And first of all, I'd like to tell you congratulations on your new album. I Found the Sun Again.
Thank you.
I enjoyed the overall album like I'm at a live gig.
Yeah, but well, that was the intention, to do things. We did the record in 8 days, set up live in the studio,
It's
played
like
all the tracks live.
the great
And
arrangements by great musicians, very mature, laid back, no show off, but at the same time, fleshy and raw music. Amazing, man.
I was trying to make like Bitches Brew, like Miles Davis Bitches Brew in 2020, or Jimi Hendrix jamming in the studio, or Traffic or something. You just feel the energy in the room. You feel people not quite knowing where they're going.
I
And I
felt
wanted to
that.
capture that. You can't program that. You know what I
Of
mean?
course, of course.
It, we use Pro Tools as a gigantic recording device. And everything you hear, pretty much was the take. All souls are live.
Amazing. You
I
know,
double I and after we got the take, I double tracked a couple things and I put a few acoustics on real fast, and then we did vocals, and then the song was done. And then we did the next song the next day.
amazing. You know what? It's like, the overall sound is like 70s sounds on steroids.
Well, I wanted to take from the early 70s the way they recorded and the vibe they recorded in, and
I felt this
that's why I
80
chose the covers that I did.
like for me it felt like a little bit like Eddie Kramer vibe, a little bit Bob Ezrin low end,
Yeah, well, cool. Those are
love it.
friends and heroes of mine.
Awesome. And there's also, you know what, it's for me there's this early Toto album's rawness to it also for
No,
me,
I mean there is, because there's Joseph and David Page are very much involved in my record. David
especially.
played Hammond and piano on all the tracks. Him and Jeff Babco, who's on the second keyboard player, they would trade off and switch on different things. And it's pretty obvious who does what. David's Hammond playing is unbelievable.
It is.
David's Hammond solo, his inner Stevie Winwood, his inner, whatever. He just plays the right stuff. And
Yeah.
Jeff Babco just knows how Jeff puts all that stuff was done live on. I was
I,
laughing while it
I,
was
I
going
am really
on.
curious about, because I know that you played everything live and very fast. How did the keyboard player, for example, chose his patches for the right section of the song, and your guitar
No
playing
patches.
really
There's no
vibe
like,
and everything?
no. Real big 9-foot grand piano,
Wow,
open, and a real Hammond organ
awesome,
and
man,
Leslie, and
awesome.
there was a Rhodes, there was a Whirly, there was a Mellotron, and then there was one synth that had like sound effect stuff on it.
Oh, that was
And it was all done, and all the keyboards were all set up all around. David Babco and Page had their whole world. They could go, you do this, you do that. Okay, I'll jump over here and do this, do that. And so, like, there was a lot of hands flying around. So there's a lot of cool, like you could just reach over here and hit a sound effect and
oh
then go
man,
play and shit.
oh
It was
wish
all done in real time.
wish
So
I was a
it's the
fly on
magic.
the wall.
Yeah, well, there was 20 witnesses, so it's not like I'm lying.
Of course, you're not lying. You're coming from
I
this
wanted to do
era.
something different. I wanted to do something different. The only thing I can do different is to be honest and like do it like
Yes.
I used to do it. I wasn't trying to write a hit song to get oh, here's the next one after Africa.
You're, I think, because of your vast fan base, because all been through the years, you made a lot of albums in different eras with all reinventing yourself. And some of those guys from this fan base might expect always a slick production out from you.
Well, I want to
It's all
shake it
right.
up.
It's all right. But I guess they don't get this one's idea. Some of them I'm talking about, because you know what? I think this album is going to age very well.
I do too.
That's how I felt
I've
it when
listened
I.
to it. I've listened to it a bunch because I don't have anything else to do here at my house. But I'm also working promoting it, and so I want to make sure everything's cool. So this whole process of getting the music out to people, I listen while we're doing it, and while we go through the cycle, I'll listen to the music a bunch, and then I won't.
It's
You know what I
awesome,
mean?
man.
I haven't listened to my first solo album in 20 years.
And you always surprise people with the new.
This record was for me, right?
I dig it.
All the record company said to me was, play more guitar.
Yes.
I said, I want to play more guitar, but I don't want to just, blah, blah, blah. I wanted to jam, be able to jam and stretch out within the context of great songs so that you would still have women in the room.
Awesome, man. By the way, also, I really also appreciate the energy of you, knock on the wood, because you're still putting out new music despite the music industry today. That's so important.
You know what, man? Let me be really honest with you. I've done it all, man. I've been doing this stuff. Session player when I was a teenager in the 70s, and I went through the whole thing, album of the year, Grammys and accolades and platinum records and all the 45 years of my career, all the things that I've done. And I'm sitting there and then people go like, well, you're 63 years old. What are you going to do? I'm going, well, I'm not going to do what everybody else is doing. Why do I want to make a record that sounds like everybody else? I said, the only thing that I could do, there's a 9-year-old girl in Japan that can play faster than everybody.
Oh, I don't care about that one. You know what?
Well, it's actually funny.
It is.
Somebody play like, you go like, that's amazing. What do you do with that? What can you do with that?
I never forget your.
Is there a song in there somewhere?
Yeah, you told someplace on some interview. You said like, "Did you see that? Did you see that? You remember this when they're so fast on playing on YouTube?" I totally get this, but
it's wonderful. No, it's wonderful that the kids are into this crap. It's jaw dropping. When kids get into music and their dexterity, their fingers, and stuff like that, and they connect with their brain. Man,
but man, I'll tell you something.
Music is every kid should learn how to play a musical instrument, not professionally, but just for fun. Just as it's a great outlet, man. You feel part of something, and that's how I got into it. It took me out of being.
You educated me all through the years as a musician. I'm coming from a musical family. My father is a jazz pianist, and everyone is a musician. But I'm following you since 1979.
Oh wow!
I heard nearly all the things you did, and there is one thing. I have kids in my house, and they're both involved in music. And with me, I found this important thing from you, which is guitar is not the goal. It's that we're playing to this music, and guitar is like a tool.
It's a tool.
Yes, it's not like you play everywhere, but you find this little thing. And I have this information for you about you. Like, you're not only playing a guitar like any other guitar session player. I know there are thousands of great players all around the world. But for me, your take was like a producer touch, that you were finding this little missing piece and bring meaning to the song without giving the whole rhythmic information. And for me, if someone
I was good at that. I used to be able to listen to music and I have an arranger's ear.
Yes, and plus you have the fire too. You add a fire to this thing.
I wanted to please the artist and the producer and the arranger and make everybody else feel good. You wear a lot of hats as a session player. You have to be ready for everything, and you have to be able to. It's psychology too, man.
It is.
It's because I've seen incredible players kind of lose it when they see the red lights on.
Of course,
pressure. Like this is real. We're keeping this. It's like
yeah, true. And also, I realized this, especially with you, with Jeff Porcaro, you, David Page, and everyone in your band. You guys are like playing, like conducting the frequency. I call it. For example, if someone is doing a solo, Jeff was playing the drums without invading the high frequencies, and he was playing in a way that he brings the other player hearable. with not invading those frequencies with his playing. So when
Right. You have to find your spot. You have to
yeah,
know frequencies. You have to find out what the piano player is doing, what the other guitar player is doing, what the singer is, what the overall groove, and you have to look at the chart that just says G, A, E minor, and that's all. That's all
awesome,
the information you get, and then we have to come up with our own parts to make this a record.
awesome.
And so we would give from ourselves, and by today's standards, I should have songwriting credit on everything I've ever played on,
Man,
because I always added something that was a hook or a solo that was memorable or something. That's the job, is being an arranger. Like, see, a musician was like being an arranger. So you
yeah.
didn't get pissed off. You didn't get pissed off. You go, oh, well, hey, I made the tune, and you get a reputation. People, I want that guy. I want the guy that brings the hits.
And
Comes up
also,
with a stupid part that nobody would ever think about that actually makes the song. Instead
exactly, yeah.
of that is meaningless. Like having a 20-inch penis. It's great. Great to show to everybody, but what are you going to do with it?
True.
Look at this
Unbelievable.
monster. Look at this monster.
Look at us. But I don't want to be together with this monster.
Try to find somebody to let you put it in it.
Unbelievable.
About this fat.
Man, I have to mention this song that Love Bridge of Bridge of Sighs.
Yeah, that was a childhood thing.
You know what?
All the songs I picked, all the cover songs are from the early 70s, my childhood. I played them all in school bands and stuff like that. I love the artists. I've worked with them. I sent Joe Walsh my version of
But it's
Love, and he loved it.
the Robin Trober also, like it's like you visited that song by Jimi Hendrix spirit with the hands of Lukather and your emotional depth. I love
this is the whole point of making my record. The whole point of my record is, that song in particular shows where it was at, because we were just jamming in the studio. And when we finished, I looked over and I go, "Did you get that?"
Awesome.
And he said, "Yeah." And we went in and we listened to it, and that was the record, Bridge of Sighs. And all I did was stay. I said, "Okay, I'm going to do the vocal now.
Amazing.
Give me some big, monstrous delay, so it sounds like I'm in arenas, like singing."
Sounds beautiful. And I think
Listen, I love Robin Trower, and I love Robin Trower. This is an homage, and obviously Robin loves Jimmy. I love Jimmy, so
Yeah.
it's all rubbed off in there, and it was a great vehicle for. It's an incredible song.
It is.
Robin's a genius, man. He wrote this song. Every guitar player in the world wants to play this song. I had the balls to do it. I did it with respect, because I think Robin Trower is one of the best. He
It's
has such
awesome.
soul.
Also, I have to mention Journey Through, because
Yeah, that was my tribute to Jeff Beck, man.
you know what?
Jeff Babco wrote that song for me. He says,
Really?
"This is for you, Lukey." He goes, "This is for you, Lukey." And I took it home and I played it, and I went, "Oh, this is such a beautiful melody, man."
It
And
is.
his chords, it's just, and that's what you hear there. That was one take. We played
Really?
that. We played that, and I said, "You get that?"
Amazing solo.
And that's the record. That's
Amazing
it.
performance.
One take, one
Unbelievable.
performance, no overdubs.
You have this, for me, always for my ears. You have this on some of your songs. You have this New York detective movie feel, like late in New York. Like this in the 60s or the 50s. This detective goes to this bar, and here's your playing. It's something like, like a trumpet player kind of a thing. And with Song for Jeff, Smile,
Yeah.
I love this very much,
Guitar, especially, I've been working with changing the sound of my guitar a little bit. It has a little more throat to it,
I felt that with
tone controls and the new Music Man pickups and stuff.
I realized that with my son. Actually, he told me about this, and I was, suddenly I realized that too. It's almost like a Les Paul sound to it now, a little bit more than before. Maybe I'm wrong, but I felt this.
It's my L3, man. It's the new Music Man L3 with the Music Man pickups, not the DiMarzios. I've changed to another thing, and I'm able to do some different pickup configurations and change the tone controls. And I found this really almost like a horn sounding frequency when you were talking earlier about layering. We're
Yeah.
if everybody's playing loud and hard and all in the same frequency, it's just going to be bashing against each other. You got to
Yes.
find frequency. Like there's the cymbals and the kick drum,
True.
and then all the sub frequencies from the bass and the kick drum and the bass guitar and all that.
Yes, of
So
course.
you have to know where the sonic. Oh, I have a jacked up right arm. You have to know where all the sonic things is to fill in the right spots so that you can hear everything.
That's why Van Halen was like, playing one guitar, bass, drums, and the singer. And it sounds huge. But
Yeah,
think about Pyromania from Def Leppard. All the
yeah.
little frequencies in there. You have to find a spot
Well,
for.
it's a different way of making records, man. Rick Allen's one of my best pals. He used to live right across the street from me for 10 years. I love all those guys. Phil,
Yeah.
oh, I love Def Leppard. Yeah, fuck yeah, I love them.
And
Buck Rag and all that shit. Wow.
man, I was really making my lesson well that I prepared answer, ask questions. I tried my best for this.
No, it's okay, man.
Uh,
Just be yourself. You're recording this. You got this. They got it
yeah.
at the record company too.
Yeah. So for best solos of Luke for me, one of them was the Live in Paris DVD, the ending of I'll Be Over You.
Oh, well,
It's
sometimes you get lucky. I don't know.
that one was like a godlike because I heard different versions from different nights, but that particular night was amazing. Also, song from Jeff with Edgar Winter live in 2000. Both of them, how you just executed it on stage was unbelievable. Here is my question: how do you cope with that? That night is going to be recorded.
Yeah,
How,
that you always have that. Yeah, I sometimes I wish every time it happens, we record one and we do it, and then the show after the recording is the best show we've ever done.
ah, oh,
But yeah, you do know that it's recording, and you do know that you really can't fix much. You know what I mean? There's not
of
much to
course.
do. If it's going to be live, it's live. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
If you're lucky, if you could fix a little out of tune vocal thing or something like that, something's really awful. You can, but otherwise, you got to leave it real. I don't think it's fair to do that.
yeah, I think
I
also.
mean, sometimes they give you money, and you gotta go. This is gonna live forever. We gotta have to fix this, man. And in past situations, we've had to do that. But hey, you know what? These days, all you need is a laptop and a celebrity, and you have an instant rock star, pop star.
But yeah,
Pop.
that happens much.
That's what the kids are listening to, man.
I think the problem for what I understand, because with my son I always talk about the subject, and he is also trying to have his own career in music, and I am also in my country. I know how it works as a producer myself, but the thing is, the problem is actually it was like more personal before. Everybody was in a soul search of himself. You were meeting people face to face. I was calling my girlfriend, and we were meeting in front of the cinema, and if she's not show up, I would call her after 2 hours, and where are you? Like, the organic feeling on everything. And if you go to London, you have this studio that you can have this desk over there, which is built especially for that studio. Or in New York, Electric Lady Studios, they have this other desk over there, which sounds totally different than that one. Now we're living in this plug-in world with everything is just a snapshot of a sound, and
That's why everything sounds the same.
yes, exactly. No
Everybody
person.
mixes. Everybody uses the same plugins to mix their records.
Yes,
So there's sameness to it.
and also for the
That's
imagine.
why I did my record live. So you can't.
I totally dig what. That's why I dig it.
Now I understand some of the metalhead guys or something like that will be like, oh, he's going to Jazz World or something like that. I mean,
Come
listen,
on.
I don't belong to any particular form of music, which is why my band Toto is always hated by the press, because we didn't do one thing, stuck to that one thing that we do and do that one thing. We do Hold the Line, Georgie Porgy. That right there, you're fucked. And we didn't look the part. You know, we had a silly band name, and it was just they
It's
just
not
had
silly. I
I've
think
taken
it's
care of it,
beautiful.
bro.
I love it.
45 years of shit. 45 years of people taking pot shots. I laugh it off.
It
It's
doesn't
funny.
matter. Your
No,
legacy is
listen,
over there.
all I ever wanted was a long career, man, and I got my wish. So thank you very much. I
And
mean, Toto's more valuable now than it was at the height of its powers. So I got a new version of it. And Joseph and I are working together as we did on both of our solo albums. David Page worked on all of my songs. And he worked on a bunch of Joe's stuff. And Joe sang on my stuff. I sang on Joe's stuff. So
it's like a
the idea is the
trilogy.
three of us was going to go on as the Dogs of Oz, and then the promoters and everybody's like, no, just call it Toto. And Toto's changed 15 times. I'm the only guy that's been there the whole way, never missed a thing. And Joseph is probably second. And David is still involved, but he can't medically change time
Sure.
zones. So I still talk to him. We're doing business right now. But
I also heard he's
he taught
working
me how to make records.
on a solo album now, David Page. I heard from another interview with Joseph.
He's working. Yeah, I'm gonna play on
Amazing.
something. He's got some great, and he just wants to put out a little EP, you know. He's
Beautiful.
Dave, and people will love it, you know.
You know what? For me, the Toto had a kind of a European roots, like a classical music quality to it, with some parts every time. Songs like Angela, A Secret Love, not the intro I'm talking about, or If It's the Last Night, not the chorus, but the verse I'm talking about. Carmen, in this little section, it felt like Leonard Bernstein Gershwin thing was like somewhere inside.
Sure.
Where it was coming from? Was it coming from David Page? That
It was coming from all of us.
those classical influence I'm talking about, that little
Page, yeah, Page had that, and Steve, and but Page played all the stuff, and we were all just a product of our influences, and we would encourage that. We would reference it, go like, yes, this is like a fucking Genesis thing, but we would take it and make it our own, and that's what everybody does that when other artists go, I love that, man, I want to do something like that, but I don't want to steal it. Some people just steal it.
I know that's a different situation, but at all,
Yeah.
Another question. I love "Run to Me," by the way. It's a beautiful song and very.
Thank you. That was written for Ringo's 80th.
I know.
That wasn't really supposed to be on the album. That was just like something we did as a gift in July
for his
7th,
birthday, right?
Oh, I'm in Ringo's All Stars, and I'm still in Ringo's All Stars. As a matter of fact, we have Joseph and I wrote his new single for his EP, and we're working on a song today for his second CD. He's doing another EP after his EP one just comes out on Friday. So, guy's 80 years old. He looks like he's 40, and he's fired up, and he wants to work in 2022. I'm with you, boss. Toto's going to work. The new Toto, Dogs of Oz, is going to work in 2022. We're hoping that the world comes back together once we all get our jabs and the world calms down. But I've been sitting in my house for a year, and I got another year, and it's driving everybody mad.
It is for us also.
Yeah, it's for the whole world. This
doesn't
matter for rich or poor. It doesn't matter nothing. Where everybody's the same. Nobody gets special treatment. No, I mean,
no.
I'm in fucking LA, Hollywood with the stars. There's no. I went to my doctor to get a full physical. Beverly Hills doctor, doctor of the stars. I can't. You got to get the jab, but blah 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 blah. And you're not.
Dude, we can't even go to a dentist. That if you have a pain, forget about it. That how am I going to go to a dentist if something happens? Can you open your mouth in front of that person in this COVID times? Not easy thing to do, right?
Well, the protocols. You have to take a test first.
Yeah.
The doctor wear a mask, and he has to be tested, and you have to not touch anything. I mean, I've had to do it. I lost 3 teeth. Molars. Fucks with the way I talk.
Oh,
it's like I'm an old fucking man, man. Give me a break.
You look awesome, by the way, man.
People tell me, oh, he's slurring his words, he's drinking. I'm going, motherfucker, I got 3 molars pulled out of my head. Some words come, and some confused. I'm still learning, still retraining.
Man, I just saw this neighbor thing that you did when he started to make the lawnmower. That was amazing. And I have a little story for you that it's very similar. Something happened to me like 2 years before yours. I'm also in a house, And the next place, there was this guy decided to cut an iron rod at 7 in the morning. And I was with the tooth pain, and I was just back from.
Oh God.
I just opened my window and I told him, "Hello, would you please do this after 10 or 11 p.m. a.m.?" And he was like, "Why am I asking you? I'm just doing it right now." I was like, "Okay, wait, I'm coming downstairs." I went downstairs and I walked to him, and then there is this wall between me and him, and there is this iron, the fence.
Yeah.
So he can't touch me. So I said, "What happens if I shoot you right now?" He said, "Are you going to shoot me?" But he didn't see that I was keeping this hose with the water. I took the water out, and he was like, for 5 seconds, he washed with the water because he wasn't expecting it. And then he just jumped back. And the machine that he's cutting is just left. And I'm like, "Do you want me to water your machine?" He's like, "Please don't do it. Please don't do it." So I totally felt you when I saw that thing over there. That feeling of let me be,
Yeah, well, I have that feeling all the time. Man, we're stuck in our house here, man, for a year behind the gates.
Amazing. Okay.
Anyway, what else we got, man? I got another one of these things coming in here, brother.
Okay,
man.
fast ones. What string gauge are you using? 09s?
Yeah.
Still?
Yeah. I'm not a tough guy.
No, me too.
I also have 2 broken rotator cuffs on my shoulders.
Mine too are gone too.
So I have to, I'm gonna make it a little. I'm not one of these guys that believes you have to like I bend with a wound E string or something like that. It's like, all you did was tear your fingers apart. Stevie Ray Vaughan's hands were torn up from using that stuff.
I think it's the guitarist thing. I don't know why.
Billy Gibbons, I'll put it this way. Billy Gibbons uses a 007.
I heard also Jeff Beck is the same.
No, Jeff uses a standard stuff. I play his guitar. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, here is my son's.
Jeff's an alien. Jeff's an alien. You can't put him in the same room with everybody else. He's on his own planet. It's a really groovy planet.
He's an incredible player.
Yeah.
It's short and from my son that he wanted to ask you a couple quick questions, if it's possible.
Yeah.
One was, what was the story behind the song Anna from the 7 one?
I wrote that with my friend Randy Goodrum, and he wrote the lyric. I had all the music and the melody. It was a marriage of music and lyricist.
I love Randy Goodrum too.
Yeah, he's the word man, and he's such a beautiful cat to hang with, man. I love him to death.
I heard that he was your mother's neighbor, right?
Yeah. That was wild,
And also his question is, do you remember which amps and guitars you used on the 7th one album? Because he's so happy.
Oh wow, yeah. I used Mike Soldano gave me the 3rd Soldano head, and I used that as as the preamp. The power amp I put through a VHT power amp, and then I split it out to 2 speakers, and I had all the rack shit and all that stuff, PCM 70s, and
awesome
ping pong delays and all that 80s stuff.
But that album has its own classical thing with
George Massenburg. I got to give a lot of credit to George Massenburg, our engineer and co-producer,
because the dynamics, that you feel it.
We did some magical shit with that, man. I was really, really happy with that. 7th one is one of my favorite Toto records we ever did.
Ours also. Man, thank you very much for this.
Thank you, brother. You're a sweetheart.
Honor for me, and I will never ever forget. Come and say hello to.
Come let me meet your son. Let me meet your son. Yeah. Hey, brother. Hey, man. All right, you're one of us. VH, good going, man. You got your Van Halen shirt on. That's fucking right shit. That's the right stuff.
Oh man, thanks.
Brother Edward, man. How are you, dude?
Good. We're at home still playing all day and creating new stuff.
You got a cool dad, man.
Oh man, you're cool too. So
oh man, you guys go out and listen, you just have fun, practice. keep a good relationship with your dad, man. You're a good kid. You obviously got your mother's looks. Oh,
Man.
I tease you. God bless you, son.
God
You're
bless
beautiful.